So you are very, very welcome. I'm really, really excited today to have the lovely Yvonne J with us. These are Angel Cafe conversations. So the idea behind this particular series, the Angel Cafe is a place where you can come to be filled up spiritually with conversations around healing, angels, spirituality, unicorns, whatever. But this particular series is an idea that has been in my mind probably forever, but I've really just got the kick to do it now. And it's around spiritual activism. What we as light workers, as spiritual leaders and teachers, which is most of you watching this, Earth Angels, what we can do within our capacity, with our big, huge hearts, to make a difference in the world. So we're going to be talking about subjects like environmental change and what we can do to make a positive impact on the environment. We're going to be talking about profits and business and capitalism and conscious capitalism. We're going to be talking about racism and this whole big, big issue that has been there for centuries, but is really becoming, there's a lot of us have awakened to this issue that was right before our eyes. And I'm putting my hand on my heart and saying, me too. So we are awakening together. So I want these conversations to just be gentle, but awakening. It's somehow that you get something from this that will just make you think a little bit differently or answer some questions that you have around any of these situations, any of these topics. So today I have the amazing spiritual teacher, leader, incredible healer, author, Yvonne J. Douglas. I have only met Yvonne very recently in the last month or so, and we're not official friends, but I really feel that we've a connection, Yvonne, and I'm thrilled that you're here. So maybe just introduce yourself, and then we'll get into a conversation.
Yes. Thank you for having me on here, Aisling. Yes, I do feel that connection, and it feels really lovely and warm and fuzzy. And yes, my name's Yvonne J. Douglas, and I go by the name of the Starseed Alchemist. And as you said, yeah, I'm a spiritual leader and healer, and all the other things that go with it. And you know, I'm a trained shamanic practitioner, so I heal the soul. I connect with people's souls, and I heal and guide people on their journeys, helping them to discover their true purpose, and working with the sensitive souls among us so that they can really tap into their innate power and create their own magic. You know, because I've noticed along my journey, I've noticed that being a sensitive soul hasn't always been welcomed by others and by myself. And sometimes we shy away because being sensitive has had such a negative connotation, really. But actually, it's a very huge positive, and it's a huge gift to be sensitive. So I kind of run the gauntlet for sensitive souls and speak up for them and like power to the sensitive souls type of thing.
Brilliant. You're so welcome, Yvonne. Thanks so much for sharing this space with me today, and for everyone that's listening. You know, I came across Yvonne. Someone tagged me, or I found Yvonne. I found a video, and I listened to it. I watched the video, the live stream. I don't know when you posted that.
January, I think it was.
My God. Okay, so January you posted. So I watched this in January, and Yvonne made a call to light workers to get into action around the issue of racism. And I watched that video, and it went straight over my head. And I thought, I posted. I was shocked to see that I had commented on it. I went to see it again about like 5 months later, and I had commented. I said, "Well done, Yvonne. This is great. Keep speaking out. It's great to see people out there speaking." And I really meant that from my heart. And it was only in the last month that somehow awakened, somehow my eyes opened, and I'm only baby steps, so I'm only literally starting, and somehow came across Yvonne again, started reading books, went back to have a look at the live stream, which I thought I hadn't seen. I was shocked to see that I had seen it and that I had completely missed the message. And when I saw it again the second time, I thought, oh my God. When I listened to that for the first time, I thought I didn't understand what white supremacy meant. I didn't understand what white privilege meant. And I didn't understand that I was part of this system and that I was benefiting from the system. And I didn't know that I could be active in changing. I didn't know all of this. So it's been an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
To allow this awakening to happen. So I would love you to just maybe speak about that, Yvonne. How do you see that from your perspective? As you said to me before we began, this is what we've been waiting for.
You know, it's when I put that video out in January, I just put it out and left it there really, and I didn't, as you say, there was a few comments, but not many actually. But I just felt it was really important to put something like that out there, because I do feel as light workers, we are the leaders in change for the better. We are the leaders in opening hearts and forgiveness and healing. So it just needed to be done, I felt, because we're leaders and we have to lead the way. We have to lead by example. We've come here for a reason. We've come here to help the collective consciousness to heal on deep levels. And racism is a very deep wound embedded in the fabric of our society that we are all affected by. And it has to be eradicated somehow.
Yeah. So what like, you made a call on that and you said, light workers, I'm calling you step up to do something.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, maybe people watching this video, still don't know what they can actually do. And I'm going to give you some examples of how I've approached this. And maybe I'd love to hear anything else that you could give us, any ideas, spiritual or practical, or from your experience, what you've seen, because I know that you've had clients, you've had, as you said, the phone hasn't stopped ringing. People are reaching out because they want to heal this. They want to speak about it now. So after going through the initial wave of shock, trauma, grief, shame, guilt, anger, frustration, hopelessness, what the fuck, all of it, and reading the books, and I've only read 2, so I'm not there. I've listened to about 6 hours of a podcast that I like called Seeing White, so that's about my learning at the moment, so it's only at the beginning. So I decided, right, what can I do? What can I do as a spiritual teacher, as a leader? So there were some things that were pretty obvious. One is I noticed that I don't have everybody in my community is white. Almost like 98% of my community is white. And I can't believe I didn't notice that before.
Right.
So, and I host an Angel Cafe event every few months, and that's bringing all healers and teachers together to offer their healing gifts for in aid of a charity. They're all white.
Yeah.
So I was putting together an angel card deck, and I realized it did not even occur to me that angels weren't white. Like, Yvonne, I can't even, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Embarrassed Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's interesting because you mentioned the angel card deck, and it's true. There's so many angel cards, oracle cards out there, where all the angels and all the goddesses and all that, they're mainly depicted as white. And so when I look for angel cards or oracle cards, I try and seek out ones that have a mix, or seek out ones that are for Black people, so that it resonates with me in my psyche, in my spirit. But yeah, the majority of them are white. And even like my book, I mentioned my book to you, and the reason why I wrote, well, one of the reasons why I wrote my book, The Journey of a Starseed, was because I started to question religion, and in that I also talk about the depiction of Jesus being white, and how that just messes up the psyche of a Black person.
Yeah.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily for me, on my journey through spirituality, I've gotten to know that the energy sources, the goddesses and the archangels, they're just an energy source, and they don't have any color. They don't have any color. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
But this is just one of the things that, on a spiritual level, that can affect Black people. But in terms of white supremacy and white privilege, it's just something that, as a Black person, I've been aware of nearly all my life really, that there is difference, and I am treated differently, and I don't have as much opportunity as my fellow white person. Yeah.
And would you be willing, Yvonne, to give us an instance, and I'll tell you why I'm asking you to do this, of racism, is because I watched an interview recently of someone that I know, I've never met, but I admire, a Black woman I admire. And she said in the interview that when her husband leaves, the thought crosses her mind that she's not sure if he'll come back.
And that's so sad, isn't it?
I think that was a moment for me where I was like, that's impossible. That's impossible. But it's not. It's totally.
But it's the reality of so many of us. It really is the reality. I mean, for me, I've done a lot of healing, especially around ancestral healing and slavery healing, because a lot of it is embedded in our DNA. And I remember times in the past where, so I noticed the difference, basically. I noticed the difference after I had the ancestral healing around slavery in how I moved about in the world. So before, I used to unconsciously move out the way for white people. Wow. When I was going about my day-to-day business. Didn't realize I did it. And I only noticed it afterwards because I started noticing other Black people do it. And I also noticed some of them offer their seat on the train or the bus to another white person who actually doesn't need it more than they do. And I just thought, that's very strange. And also going way back in my younger years, I remember at work, I used to work so hard. I was amazing at what I did. I know I was. And because I'd always get, complimented on the way I worked efficiently and fast, etc. But it was very difficult for me to get promoted, even though I got the results. And I also remember one time when one of my bosses wanted me to stay late to finish some work. And I had a young baby and I had to get home to my baby. And a big argument ensued. And he then said to me, "You have a chip on your shoulder." It's just like, where did that come from? And what's that got to do with anything? I have a young baby. I need to get home to my baby. I've done my hours. Yeah. So lots of experiences of racism. But as I said, now, because I've done so much DNA healing, I kind of, I'm not so I don't feel affected. I'm not so triggered. I'm not so triggered right now, although I know it's still there, and I see it amongst in the world. So I always talk, I feel that it's really vital that lots of healing needs to take place on a DNA level for Black people, so that the fear factor and the triggering isn't harsh, but also for white people, because they also have a lot of shame, I guess. I'm not assuming, but guilt, shame, perhaps around it, you know. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's why it can be difficult to look.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly aware for the first time in my life of the words I'm speaking. That can be, I did a recent live stream, and I said tribe, or I used other words, and I just thought, oh, I don't know if that's appropriate anymore, or do you know what I mean? But it's the first time I'm actually considering, because I've never had to consider it before, because my audience were white. So so what I would love is there are some people watching this who are opening, this is awakening something in them, and they're realizing that this is an issue, and maybe they're starting their education like me, or maybe they're way ahead and they've realized this ages ago, and they're already as an ally. Like, these are new words I'm learning. So for somebody that doesn't have a clue, me watching your video in January and thinks, yeah, I'm a light worker, I'm loving light, I never do any harm to anybody, all those white supremacists over there, and this doesn't apply to me. What can we say? What can we do without bringing up anger, or which is what I've been met with when I've tried to, which is probably too soon.
You know, it is a very delicate subject, isn't it? And because I suppose a lot of white people may feel attacked, and maybe go into denial. Oh no, I'm not racist. You know, I've heard so many people say that. I'm not racist, I have mixed race children, or I'm married to a Black person, or I have, my best friend is Black, and things like that. But even if that is the case, you can still be racist. So you can still really benefit from white privilege, because the actual system that we live under is built in order for white people to benefit from it more so than Black people. You know, Black people struggle to succeed in many ways, and not because they don't want to try, and that's another thing I've heard. A lot of Black people don't try, or they blame. And yes, blaming isn't right in any kind of circumstance, but it's not about blaming. It's about, yes, we all have to take responsibility and do what we need to do. And I keep saying, what we need to do is do the healing work. But I think I'm losing my point. I think we all have to take responsibility. So as a white person, perhaps, okay, be open-minded, don't get defensive, understand that, yes, you may feel shame and guilt, and sometimes, because shame makes you want to protect yourself. Yes. And then you don't want to look at that shame because it is huge. Shame is an awful energy. It's very heavy, it's very dense, it's very negative. So, and it's yes, it's your ancestors that created the system. It's your ancestors that enslaved Black people, but you carry the genes, the DNA of your ancestors. Hence why a lot of white people are quite comfortable in the system, because they're okay. But on a spiritual level, if your fellow human isn't okay, you're not okay, because we are a collective consciousness. We are a collective consciousness, and this collective consciousness is becoming even more apparent of late, because we are all ascending, we are all upgrading.
Yes.
So we all have a responsibility to heal this deep wound that humanity carry.
And, you know, coming back to that, what you said at the beginning before we went live, which was, this is the time we've been waiting for. That's the conversation I've started to have, is to say, we knew this was coming. So if you're you can't pretend that it's still not your business, because we, as light workers, we've been predicting it. We've been saying 2020 what it was going to bring. We've been saying the systems are going to be disrupted and destroyed and everything's going to break down.
Yeah.
That's going to be uncomfortable. And it's, if you cannot continue business as usual, you have to embrace, this is it. So what can I do? What can I do? Where can I lead in this space, or how can I use my voice? So where do you see your work? Because I think the shadow work you're doing, the ancestral healing, it's like you're just in the perfect place at the perfect time in history, Yvonne.
Yeah.
It's
oh God, don't give me goosebumps.
I'm getting them as well, everywhere. The hair on my body is standing up. It's like,
Lord, okay. Sorry. Oh, okay, deep breath.
What is?
Do you know, as you say, this is the time that we have been preparing for as light workers. We have been on our journeys. We have done so much. A lot of us has done so much healing, so much work. We've been, as you say, it's not all about love and light. Yeah, love and light is there, and yes, spiritual phenomena is great. And you know, talking to the angels, talking to your guides, astral traveling, third eye stuff, chakras, all beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. However, we cannot do the spiritual bypassing stuff, and that is the shadow work. The shadow work goes hand in hand. We have to do it. You know, so many people bypass the shadow stuff and they think they're okay, and they're not okay. Each and every one of us has wounds, different wounds. Some are deeper than others. We've all come for a different reason. We've all have different experiences, but we all need to do the shadow work. And if you don't do the shadow work, you cannot really call yourself a spiritual, enlightened being.
Yeah.
You just can't. So racism is one of humanity's shadow stuff. We've got to do the work. On an individual level, do your shadow stuff. Look at yourself. Look at what it is that your stories, your what you tell yourself, your biases, your unconscious bias. Go within and look at what it is you're giving to the world. Are you being open-hearted? Are you being fair? Are you being accepting? Are you accepting of others and difference? And are you love? Because that's what we are. It's about love. And we have to learn to love each other unconditionally. unconditionally, you know. And I love what you're doing here. I think taking this step to talk to someone like myself about this topic is very courageous. And that's part of the work. You know, you're saying, what can I do? What can I do? What you're doing now is brilliant. Bringing it to light. Yeah, bringing it to light so that we can all start questioning ourselves and getting honest. We have to get brutally honest, don't we? In everything. In everything.
And I think what I've said to myself is being willing to make terrible mistakes in the things I say, or you know, to show up anyway.
Yeah.
And just be an ally in whatever way I can. Could you explain that term ally? Because I'm afraid I'm going to explain it.
Okay. So being an ally is actually being someone who's ready to help, to facilitate the healing, to talk about it, to do stuff actively. Spiritual activism, as you called it. That's what it is. You're willing to help the cause, and not just on a surface level, but on a real genuine heart level, which I can feel coming from you. I can feel it. Yeah.
And Yvonne, when you're so let's talk about your work. So has it changed in the last couple of months? Has there been any subtle changes related to the bang that's happened? Would you just maybe talk about that? Talk about what you do in a session and maybe how that's changed.
So I have different types of sessions. I do counselling, and I also do the spiritual healing stuff. So I'm doing a lot more spiritual healing stuff now. In fact, I need to close my counselling books. I feel, and maybe have a waiting list, because it's become so busy. So even just general counselling has become much busier, because it feels like so many people are now realising, I can't do this anymore. I can't. The energies that we've had recently, we've had 3 eclipses, one after the other. Recently, we had the full moon. We had Mercury in retrograde. We had summer solstice. We've had what else have we had? The Sirius sun. We've also Lionsgate coming up. Although I feel that it's come up a bit earlier than usual. It's coming earlier. But all these energies, the earth is cleansing. It's throwing up all the muck. Yeah, so it threw up racism for humanity, and it's throwing up everybody's individual stuff. So people are now realizing, I can't run from this anymore. And it is about really letting go of the old paradigm, the old behaviors, the old patterns that we've held on to so dearly. And so for me, my phone ain't stopped ringing. It's crazy. I've had to get myself a VA and someone to do my marketing, and it feels like I need more help to kind of manage everything, because it's just going quite crazy. Because yeah, this is the time that we've been preparing for as healers, to help humanity heal their stuff. So as I said, I do the counselling, and I also do the spiritual healing and soul guidance, so helping people on their path so that they can get to know what their purpose is and go forth. So it's about creating a ripple effect. So I've done a lot of soul retrievals lately for people, with some amazing results. I also do depossession work, where people don't realize that they're holding on to lots of, that's not them, not theirs, and they've been holding on to it for years, and people don't necessarily know. So and yeah, some ancestral healing as well. So yeah, it's getting heavy duty.
And you're about to publish your second. Is this your second book, Yvonne?
Fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us.
So it's called Journey of a Star. Okay, it's called Journey of a Starseed, and it's based on my journey from Christianity to spirituality. So I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and it was, yeah, very strict and all sorts. And I left and went on this journey of spirituality, and so I chronicle a lot of the things that have happened to me. So, you know, all the astral traveling stuff, the multi-dimensional stuff, and connecting with my guides and my shamanic training, all of that. I've kind of taking people through that journey, but also to get people to, so because I feel that at the moment a lot of people who are religious, they may be having some spiritual things happening to them, but because of their religion, they feel like, no, it's not allowed. Because I've been called a devil worshipper, you know, from like family that are still Christian, etc. You know, and I know a lot of people are probably going through that as well. So they may be a bit apprehensive. They may be a bit fearful of what they might be experiencing because they don't understand it. They might think they're going mad. So the book is also to kind of guide people and help let them realize that actually it's okay. You're not alone. Yeah. So the book's coming out on the 24th of July, the Kindle version. So I'm looking forward to launching that. Yeah.
On Amazon.
Yes.
So we'll be able to on Amazon.
You can, yeah, download it on the 24th.
So we're going to do a whole conversation on religion, spirituality. Oh, that's coming.
It has to be done, right? It has to be done. Yeah.
Oh God, Yvonne, is there anything you want to wrap up with? Definitely, we're going to, at the end, just tell us where we can find you and where your website is, and maybe where you are on social media. But just, is there anything you want to wrap up with that you want to, that you think, if there's one thing I could say, or that would help people, that would shift, or maybe it could be channeled, I don't know, is there anything that just coming through?
Okay. Okay, so we are going through a time now of great separation. And this is a time for us to really connect with our higher self. And when I say connect, or when my guides say connect, really connect and go into your heart space. Go into your heart space and feel into your heart space. And know that this is where you need to start living from. This is a time to just shed all the old stuff, bring on the new, and don't look back. Do not look back, because it is time. It is time. It's divine time, although it feels like it's over time, if you know what I mean. It is the time for it to happen now, and humanity need to wake up, because sometimes I feel that I fear for humanity. Sometimes I sometimes wonder, are we really going to get through this time? We've just started, and it may get worse to get better, but we are shifting. Things are falling away. People are falling away. Loved ones are dying, but we mustn't grieve too much, because these loved ones, their soul contract is up, and that's what they signed up for, that. And they're leaving this realm to create more light for us. to get through this time. So yes, it's sad, and it really is sad. However, we have to get on with the work of ascending. So yeah.
So powerful, Yvonne. So powerful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you for
So
having me.
Please tell everybody where they can find you on social media, online, your website.
Okay. My website is yvonnejdouglas.com, and my social media links the same, or the Starseed Alchemist. Yeah, it's fairly easy to find me. You can even Google and it will be there, yvonnejdouglas.com, and all my links are on my actual website anyway as well. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you,
Absolute
Ashley.
pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
And
Absolutely.
I know it's the first of many, so
Yeah.
this is the first one. Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.